Awesome. So going over yesterday's trades. So Euro USD, USD CAD I took a 1% loss on. It did commit in the end really well and could have banked me roughly around about, I think it was like 12, sorry, 6 or 7%. And then tried to get the scale, got a break even. So those two are not really, they're not bad trades. I guess I was just too tight on the management. That's all it was. Going back and looking at it. So the Euro USD one, which was yesterday, it played out pretty well, to be honest. So it's over here. It was forecasting something a little bit larger, which we're kind of developing at the moment. So should be ready hopefully this evening. Um, I will. It's a bit contemplatable if I want to take that trade because I'm looking at USD CAD at the moment. But yeah, so we have this trade here. And yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, we had the 1 2 3 override. The context was there. Definitely was, a nice trade in itself. So we had the 1 2 3, the override structure, and then when it came in over here, scaled in for the opportunity. The other one I had this morning was basically the mini double top before the short. Now, I kind of wanted to take the counter long trade, counter short trade, but then I realized shortly after I took it, um, I don't think I'm gonna stay involved in it. So it was kind of a bit of a more of a second decision, sort of second guessing myself. There was this sort of mini double top before we sold off, and I saw that as a possibility because we came off here, tested 3 times in the area, and we sold off. And definitely, and it has come down here now, and it's starting to make its way back up. So that was the trade I'm really looking for. So that's one of the reasons why I got out of the position. I'll kind of jump on the charts now and then actually just talk through it. So give me one sec. Nice. So DXY, DXY has created this expanding within this larger expanding. I think with this continuation that we're forming over here, we could be looking, sorry, correction to continuation to the high now. So we did have that sort of push down. We didn't kind of commit. We can pushed up. Maybe we're pushing back down. We had that double top override above the inflection point, and we might push down lower. I'm more so interested to see if that we just continue, make our way up here, get the push down and the flag. The push down and the flag is the sort of trade that I'll be looking for. So that's basically it, bearing in mind that there will be a override over here as well. Uh, so yeah, so this would be a point of override now, and then this would be my override too. It's more for higher value override though, so it's more for point of interest, but that's the override. So price can come up here, reject, or price can come up there and reject. I'm looking for the 1 2 3 ideally, but we'll see how it goes. Euro USD. Euro USD is obviously, as you can see it, the trade I originally took was up here. As you can see, took it in there. I did get tagged out over here, which is completely fine. It's about space where it's going to create something larger. I could have been a little bit more lenient, but I didn't really want to leave too much on the table. I think 8.97% of roughly was good. Pushed up, corrected down middle section now, and we could come up here, tag into this 1 2 3 sort of section, come a little bit further, push back down, create the flag, and go in. So that's basically what I'm looking for on Euro USD. The trade that I did take earlier was definitely. I'll go on the 5 minute just for refinement, so you can kind of see it a little bit more clear. Um, Trade was really good. So we had the mini double top, the push down, and then I took the trade in over here as the trade was taken on there, we kind of pushed down. Then I kind of thought, actually, you know what? I'm looking for the push up and the push down flag. I'm not too convinced that this is the sort of price action I want to be in. Even though this was sort of forming at that point, I was kind of just a bit like, do you know what? I'm gonna just take that 0.72%, and just kind of call it. If it doesn't come up here, then it doesn't come up here. But that's the trade I'm looking for. So got out of that position and left it. It would have probably run around about 4% odd. So, but that's not the trade I'm looking for. I'm looking for this trade. USD CAD is the other one that I'm looking at. So it's very in a very very prime area at the moment. If I just go onto the daily, as we can see that we are in this sort of descending channel. However, if this is going to complete and this is a middle section, then we could probably see this come all the way down here before we go back up. So, well, for that pure reason alone, and that's just an inflection point. So, you know, a lot can happen before we even get to these high value areas up here. Um, Definitely, this is the high value area. I really do think that when we do reach this zone, something big's going to happen in the market. We have a very obvious near miss there, and we didn't really fill that little gap over here, but that is not as relevant as the obvious near miss. So with the obvious near miss, I'm more so waiting for that now. Very interested to see what happens. Going to the 4 hour and then going down to the 1 hour where it's a little bit more clear. So we had this bear flag, and or we could call it an ascending channel to the override. Definitely nice structure in there. We have a nice little wick over here that we can actually start a reference point as. So if I was to mark it on that, be the reference point, point 1, 2, 3. We've tapped into the override. It's about exactly what I'm looking for. Is just a tap in, push back down. It doesn't need to tap into this trend. I think that's looking for a little bit too much, but it's definitely a possible. So that 1, 2, 3 confirmation of this trend. But I think at the moment in time we don't need to. We can just kind of, scoop down, come back up, and then tap up here and then sell off. Completely fine as well. But we've tapped into the most obvious areas of override. We are coming into um, some high impact news as well. Not today, but it will be upcoming towards the end of the month, which is tomorrow. So we've got GDP growth rate quarter on quarter. We've also got ADP employment change. We've got JOLT job openings, and then we've also got the Fed Chair Powell speech, which I think is going to be the most impactful one, which coincidentally is at the end of the day. Um, Obviously, this is just there to create volatility, but I think with the volatility it can create, this can go two ways. Many times I've seen patterns like this where we kind of just trickle go down and then we get some sort of volatility and we spike up and we start creating new highs and then going to this high. So that's definitely a possibility, hence the reason why in this morning's forecast, I was hoping to get involved on this buy and then at least hedge this position if I was to take it, letting that position cancel this position out if it was invalidated. However, that this was a really good position that I missed, unfortunately. I would have exactly taken it around about there. On the 5 minute, I would have probably gone down for refinement just to kind of just see the angle in there and then gone back to the higher time frame 15, and I would have probably slapped in around about 10 pips. Looking at where it is now, you know, it is unfortunate it's a mistrade, but it would have probably been, let's call it around about a 9% trade, and then I would have been entering for a short now. So that's basically that trade, but I'm not really bothered about it. It's all in a day's work, really. So what I'm seeing right now is just one singular sell candle, but backed up by this double top override, 1, 2, 3, and then obviously the trend is in this direction as well. So there's a lot of confluences in the favor for this short currently, and I think the only negative I have is that we could push a little bit higher. So in terms of an entry, I am looking for the refinement currently. Two things can happen. This could be the corrective left to go up, to come down, to then do this and then go down, and then we create head and shoulders. But the only other thing is the head and shoulders is kind of in the middle of nowhere. um, so, I mean, I wouldn't say it's in the middle of nowhere because we do have this point here. So, actually, it is in a very valid area. However, what I was originally thinking is, are we actually in the mini head and shoulders right now? And this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and then we sell off. That is something of interest as well. So, it's quite an interesting one, but definitely looking for the refinement was a bit difficult because I was hoping that this sort of level here would have been the refinement and we would have just shorted from here. Although the impulse isn't as convincing as I'd hope. So I'm looking for that push down, the little flag, and then the sell. And then hopefully I'll be able to get in here for, yeah, let's say about 18 pips, or even if I was to get in for a risk entry, but let's say 18 pips. And then to the low, I'm looking at roughly around about 30%. So financially, it'd be quite a good position to get involved in, especially looking at the DXY now. DXY is definitely in a valid area for the potential short. So if this does start to sell off, it might even create some nice volatility for this particular pair. However, like I said, tomorrow we've got some major news coming out. It could create that news and push the DXY up. We just have to be observant for Powell's speech. Um, So unemployment rates is also coming out this week on the 2nd of December as well. I think that is also something that's going to create some additional volatility as well. Will we see the volatility for upwards movement, which will start pushing the buys up here tomorrow? And then when we do get this insane volatility, will we start to push down, correct, and then see a Friday NFP volatility back down? That would be very interesting. It's a lot to kind of look for, or we could just see it continue selling off. Volatility tomorrow sells off more, and then comes in for NFP. Maybe we get the pullback, and then a lot of different variations on how we can piggyback on this volatility that's coming up. But very interested to see, and that's it basically. My thoughts on USD CAD, Euro Aussie. Yeah, unfortunately, this was the mistrade for me. I couldn't quite catch the right angle for this. The override was there. We had the near miss. Once again, another lesson for myself because from time to time I do look for that perfection, but I don't think this is a lack of looking for perfection. I think this is more so that we just didn't get it this time, and I am looking for that break and that pushback. So you know it's good that I know what I'm looking for. We got the commitment, we got that solid push down, taking message from the market at this point. Over here was a possible entry, but not something that I was able to really understand because this was probably the area, but there was nothing to kind of go by down here. So I was more so kind of stuck with evolving like this. Where does the angle go? Will it come in like this and then we evolve? And then I was thinking, oh, okay, this is probably the angle, but then we sold off, unfortunately. And then I think over here I was sleeping. So early morning, um, this was here, and then I saw this, but then I saw this low, and then I saw the wick here, and I was thinking, how do I, is this something I really want to get involved in? There was definitely a trade here, as we can see. Perhaps maybe reduce risk entry for most, and then the risk entry would have probably been a bit better because you could have slept in the 10-minute 10 pip, and then had enough to manage to the low, and then be running a roughly around about 7%, but the reduced risk is what I was looking at, and it wasn't worth the risk. So for that reason, I didn't take it. But EA is now in a prime area as well. Um, I am looking at it like this. Is this going to be, corrective middle section, not the cleanest? We evolve now. Um, but yeah, so 1, 2, and then 1, 2, come down for the third touch, push back up, break here, bull flag, larger flag on the high time frame, gives us the momentum, and we finally go to the high. Um, that's basically what I'm looking at, but because we have this ascending channel, waiting for it to fill the 90%, hopefully it does fill fully all the way down here and then pushes above and we get that trade. So it's a bit of a weird one, but we'll see. And then I've got US 30. So US 30 is one that I think I've definitely been very strategic with. I saw this sort of trickling steep flag wasn't one that I'd take for the pure reason that we can create something larger, and it seems like we are now. If price does come back up here, would I entertain a two touch? Unfortunately, not, just because of how price is. It's a correction into a correction, which I do like. I do think that it's beginning to really, let's say, show itself. But at the moment, I don't think there's enough because this isn't the sort of flag that I'll take. More so, I think if I'm going to take this, I'm looking for something a little bit more, let's see if we can get a little bit closer on this. Yeah, I mean, we've got this sort of point here where we can say this is 1, 2, and we could be coming in for a third touch here. Not particularly the type of ideal trade that I would be looking for. Um, Perhaps maybe even the expanding is a better trade. It's a little bit difficult, and then let's just say that we come to the retest of this. Yeah, I think this is more so the trade that I'll look at. I'll look at this as the inflection point. Um, Price just kind of goes in this expanding. We have the middle section now. We've had the strong push up. Do we come in, tap into the inflection zone, create AFT entry for the sell? That's basically the sort of trade that I'm looking for. So got to wait and see now, but it'd just be essentially push up, push down, flag, sell. Perhaps maybe a stronger push, more commitment would be more interesting, like something kind of a little bit deeper. Um, so yeah, more so like we just kind of push up from here, push back down, then create a flag here, and then we go. That would be more of an ideal trade for me. So um, yeah, that's basically what I have on watch today. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm really happy with how everything's shaping up. USD CAD is literally the one I've been waiting for quite a while, so I'm going to be extra patient and wait for this one. I'm probably would entertain a entry up here. Just need to kind of evaluate it a little bit more. And Euro USD, certainly, over here as well. Override, inflection point, sort of zones are very valuable. But both situations, tap in, tap down, flag in for the trade. That's what I'm looking for. So give it some time to materialize, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good evening, and I'll catch you tomorrow.